From unused brawlers hidden in game files to glitches that literally just break the game. These are 92 absolutely useless facts for 92 brawlers. Starting off with Shelly. Even though her eyebrows are violet in her base model, on her portrait it's black, and bonus fact for you, Shelly is actually based on a character from the video game Enter the Dungeon who also has violet eyebrows. Did you know Nita is the only brawler whose voice lines can still be heard even when you are on the opposite team? Mecha Colt's top body spins slower than his lower half, which looks very weird. With his epic gear activated, Bull has to take a total of 21,600 damage to fully charge his super. That is without using his attack. And in case you wanted to charge his Hypercharge, you would need to take about 54,000 damage. That explains why my randoms always have a super ready, just to charge into nothing. Now this fact will surprise you. It surprised me anyway. Brock's initial name was, believe it or not, Rocket Girl, which means Brock was technically meant to be a female brawler. El Primo's attack used to be more of a cone shape, kind of similar to how Rosa attacks today. And bonus fact for you, every single one of El Primo's skins is facing right, except for one. El Rudo Primo, which is facing left. I guess he really is rude. In the Spanish version of Brawl Stars, Barley's super is called Cortesia de la Casa for some reason, which roughly translates to on the house. However, in English, it is of course called Last Call. I wonder why they changed it. Probably not a good direct translation of Last Call into Spanish, but you know, I don't know. Poco's description used to say, after losing his fans to a rival band, Poco fills every waking moment trying to find the perfect riff to win it all back. Which suggests Poco was once a famous mariachi, but then his competition surpassed him, and to this day he continues to regret it. Aw. If you look closely, Rosa's grow light bushes actually emit some particles to differentiate them from normal bushes. No idea how that would be any useful, but hey, now you know. Jesse's bounce mechanism is the only thing in the game that works even on invincible brawlers. For example, Belle's attacks don't bounce off invincible brawlers. In every Dynamite skin except for Robodyna, his barrel is always floating for some reason. But in Piper's iconic animation, there's a strap holding his barrel again. Get it together, Supercell, come on! Tick was actually leaked way before his release date, and initially it looked something like this. It was a weird fusion of Spike's super and Tick's attack, which is probably why Supercell got mad and started bullying him in his description ever since, calling him Penny's pet and useless. On the back of the V8-bit skin, there's a coin counter that slowly goes up, but if you wait long enough for it to hit 999, it resets right on back down to 0. Honorable mention, 8-bit's cheat cartridge gadget icon is strangely not pixelated at all, unlike both his other gadget and both of his star power icons. Get it together, Supercell. Did you know this Rico skin was given out for free on the 2019 anniversary? Of course it did, but here's the weird part. It actually says it was for the 2020 anniversary of the game, which is totally wrong because that anniversary is for Brock's old school skin. Everyone knows Daryl has only one eye. Or does he? Take a look at the left side of his face. There's actually an eye patch, something even the former Brawl Stars designer Paul confirms, calling him a lazy pirate. Now, whether there's actually an eye hiding behind that sleep mask is still up for debate, but it's safe to assume that's what he's using it for. And then there's Penny, who is the only human brawler with just 4 fingers. Maybe she lost it in a cannon misfire, who knows? But what we do know for sure is that no matter how far the target is from the mortar, the landing time is the exact same. I bet you didn't know you can actually fly with Carl. Yeah, it's true. All you have to do is get a friend to play Willow and then just have him super at you. If the duration ends while you're in the air, you get stuck there. Luckily, thanks to his gadget, you can move around a little bit, technically flying. The real reason Jackie's super pulls in Brawlers is because her drill creates a hole in the ground, making them slip. Gus has had a total of 7 skins over the years, and somehow none of them share the same hair color. I wish they were this creative with all the other skins too. To celebrate Brawl Stars' release, Clash Royale held a special event where some brawlers became cards, and one of these was Bo, who took the place of, you guessed it, Magic Archer, which technically made Bo a legendary. Most of you already know College M's was so ass they had to rework it into Mean Girl M's, but here's something you probably missed. She's actually holding a phone case with Stu's face on it. More specifically, Jock Stu, the same skin that she shares her uniform with. So does that mean there's actually a university for zombies in Star Park? Speaking of zombies, Jock Stu even has 4 fingers while regular Stu has 5. Bonus fact, Big Stu. There you go. There he is. That's a fact. And this one's for all the Piper Simps out there. If you spin Lunar Piper around, you will notice something cursed. Her neck is actually broken. Evil Queen Pam's heart floats higher than Stonks Pam's money sign. Because love is more valuable than money. Frank is one of the only OG brawlers that kept the same icon since global release, even after he got a remodel. Other brawlers include Nita and Bull. Let me know down in the comments if I missed any. BB's default skin, as well as her true silver, true gold skins, are the only skins where her bat spins once the bar is charged. Other skins, for example, with Heroine BB, her bat changes color when the home run bar is full. You will not believe this one. See what I did there? Neko B and Golden Neko B leave behind paw prints while walking. Aww. Nani's first gadget was secretly renamed from Warp Blast to Warpin' Time, probably to avoid confusion from the old description, which made it sound like Peep would detonate when all it really did was teleport her to its location. Quick Draw Edgar is the only Edgar skin that doesn't have painted nails. Well, guys, I told you they were useless facts. Like, what more do you want from me, okay? Grip's in-game model has only 4 teeth, but if you check his profile icon closely, you'll see 5. Also, bonus fact for you, Grip is the only brawler whose eyes actually move in his true golden skin, so haha. But speaking of skins, Freakin' Grom was announced in a Brawl talk, but its release had to be canceled after the community noticed his super had a questionable symbol. Bonnie's the GOAT, and I'll tell you why. One of her voice lines literally says, I got 2 words for you. Brush your teeth. Yeah, they ain't wrong. When Gale activates his Hypercharge, his basic attack looks slightly wider than usual, but it's just a visual bug. Cuckoo Colette still has the soles of her default boots on her bare feet. Don't ask me how I know that. Belle usually rocks pink glasses, but there was a time when her unlock animation used to show her wearing gray ones instead. All the brawlers in the Gold Arm Gang trio, Belle, Sam, and Pearl, always had the same rarity, despite the fact that their rarity was changed from chromatic to epic in December of 2023. The bronze rank battle card literally uses the exact same sound effect as Ash's main attack. Get it together, lazy cell! Lola and Meg are the only brawlers in the game to have a custom respawn effect. It used to be just a Lola up until Meg's rework, but since her mech is her default form, now she always respawns with the same effect. Dark Clown Sam has tally marks all over his body, but each set only goes up to 4, and if you were to count them all up, it would equal 34. Someone's been keeping track of something. We just don't know what that is. In the Mandy's Candy environment, you can see a decapitated Mandy's head floating above her throne, so that's lovely. Macy is the only brawler who can stun, slow down, and push enemies. Other brawlers come close, but to my knowledge, no one else can do all 3. Also, Jungle Queen Macy's model is slightly smaller than default Macy. Hank can kill himself! For this, all you have to do is use your super at the exact same time Willow uses a super on you. The timing's kinda hard, but if you get it just right, it's pretty funny. Months before the chromatic brawlers were officially removed, Pearl's icon already appeared next to other epic brawlers. It wasn't until 3 months later that she finally became epic. Extra fact, for a split second you can see vintage Pearl's head during her winning animation. Funny how they bothered recoloring her head even though you almost never see it. Can't call him lazy cell for that one. Larry and Laurie's design changes depending on which star power you're using. With the first star power, Larry's head glows, and with the second one, it's Laurie, meaning anyone can tell what star power you're using. Angelo's description used to say they, but was later changed to he in March of 2024, which was again changed to they in April, which was again changed to he a month later. Today, they are they. Barry is a druggie.
My candy is not for kids.
Shade is the only brawler in the game with more than 1 trait. Other brawlers like Edgar secretly have 2, but it's not recognized in the game. Meeple in Polish language is named board game figures. He's also the first ever controller brawler that can hit only 1 brawler per ammo. As in, they have only 1 projectile that doesn't pierce through enemies for their attack. Charlie comes close, but you can still hit multiple enemies with her attack like this. Mortis can actually dash through Colette's super even with her Push It star power activated. Also, Top Hat Mortis is one of the only skins that you would never see an unlock animation for. And for his True Silver and True Gold variations, it is No Hat Mortis who doesn't have an unlock animation. Other skins like this of course include Shelly, even though there is surprisingly an unused unlock animation for her in game files. Despite being released in the same update as a skin pack, Virus 8-Bit, Heroine BB, and Street Ninja Terra are all in different skin themes. Speaking of Terra, her cards have a sun, a moon, and a star on them, which would make sense because if you translate Terra's name in Hindi, it means star. 25 days before Brawl Talk announced Jean was leaked by a channel called Encrypted. The Tix leak could also be found in this video, but what's weird is that the footage looked like it was taken from the beta version, meaning the files for both Jean and Tick have been in-game since then. Also, Jean and Ems are the only 2 brawlers who show their belly button in the default skins. Angel Max is the only Max skin that's in an entirely different pose in her render. Coney Max comes close, but it don't count. Believe it or not, Mr. P's briefcase has fake spike socks. They're just purple smiley faces. No way they're buying fake drip in Star Park, bro. And what's even cooler, if both Poco and Ems are in the same team in the Mr. P hotel environment, a mistletoe will appear. Kinda cute, don't you think? I bet you didn't know this. Sprout Super got a secret change and now has a stronger knockback, which kinda makes his Hypercharge even more useless than before, since the knockback just sends enemies further away from the wall when it hits. Who asked for this? Have you ever heard this voice line?
You need my no-noob cure.
What if I told you despite being an official voice line, it's not even included in the game, so it may just be a Mandela effect or something. Squeak's squeaky note skin, aside from being downright ugly, actually grows a weird looking lump when you spin it fast, kinda like a tumor. If you stand still when an enemy Lou throws a super at you, you can get out of it quite easily. But of course your movement becomes very predictable. Also, King Lou is the only Lou skin without a smile. Ruffs was the first animal brawler to ever be added to the game, as well as the first chromatic brawler who can break walls, the first brawler with the ability to increase the max health of his teammates, and the first brawler whose angry pin shows smoke coming out of his nose instead of his ears. During the Godzilla event, tapping on Buzz's egg about 20 times used to make him mad. If you hit a target with the default Fang skin, the screen will shake. However, with the Octo Fang skin, the screen does not. Eve was the first complete brawler in the game, having an epic gear, mythic gear, and a hypercharge. No other brawler had all three before her. Now, what happens when Janet flies over bushes? Well, she just becomes partially invisible, which makes absolutely no sense. Despite having a custom model of Syl, W. Otis still uses regular Syl in battle for some reason. By the way, W. Otis is also the skin with the shortest name in the game, just being a W. Em's spray is the only attack in the game that doesn't get reflected by Buster's super. And this may be obvious, but you can actually stop a Buzz's super with a shield. It just acts as a wall. Most players think Gray's grand piano just appears out of nowhere, which is kinda true. But if you scroll all the way to the top of the map, you'll see it actually has its own little animation, which is really cool. But what's even cooler is that RT's legs can still let you teleport even while it's in the air like this. As a bonus for you, RT has the thinnest attack of the entire game, taking up just about a third of a tile. And pairing it up against the smallest brawler, Mo, makes it insanely difficult to land a shot. With Willow, you can make some brawlers kill themselves, and Nani's one of them. For this, just throw your super right as Nani's about to unload her ammo. This makes his 3 projectiles collide with themselves at their closest points. Willow also has a few unused / scrapped voice lines.
You are mine now. Dance, my puppet. Dance. You're just a tool, you weak-minded fool. Embrace the darkness.
Speaking of unused content, Doug actually has 2 unused animations that we're supposed to play during his super. One is while he's in the process of reviving himself, and the other one is when he's fully revived. If you're ever unsure where Chuck's super will end, just check the tiny dots under the posts. They actually show the order he'll travel through. And the post with 4 dots is where his super will stop, or 3 if you're one of the weirdos using his second star power. Everyone knows Charlie's victory animation has spiders crawling down her leg, but in her True Gold and True Silver skins, they're completely missing. Literally unplayable. Miko was released on December 14th, which funnily enough also happens to be International Monkey Day. Bonus fact, he's the only brawler that closes their right eye instead of the left in their icon. Just like Gus, none of Melody's skins share the same hair color. But if you thought Supercell was always so creative, think again, because Pop Melody and her color variants literally use Poco's attack sound effect. Come on, Lazy South. Technically, Lily is the only true brawler who doesn't speak at all, because while Spike had a voice in an old trailer, Gray also makes pew sound effects when shooting. And that's not even the only mystery about her. In this pin, you can see her holding 2 daggers, but if you look at her actual design, those weapons are nowhere to be found. Apparently, Clancy Dash Gadget can also stun despite the description not mentioning it at all. Wait, are you serious? Hold on, let me test it. Holy frick, it actually can! Looks like someone at Supercell just copied and pasted Maisie's gadget but forgot to remove the stun. There was an unused Mo icon where he's facing backwards. This is of course hinting at the fact that he is blind and can't tell that the camera is behind him. I said was because it eventually got added during the Angels vs. Demons event, though not as cool as if it were his default icon. All of Juju's elemental projectiles are cleverly hidden in her base model. Her cold tea bag can be seen dangling from her hat, the green poison orb is just chilling on Sprout's head, and the pink voodoo doll is stitched right onto Sprout's belly, meaning she's just throwing crap she has on hand at the enemy, which is frackin' hilarious. Ollie is eerily similar to Tyler the Creator, but that's not even the only reference in Ollie's kit. His loading screen features a clear reference to MF Doom. For those who don't know, he was a major figure in the underground and alternative hip-hop scene. Despite both Lumi and Bo having an ability that snares enemies, they both have very different effects. Jae Young is the first ever brawler to permanently change the background music that plays in-game depending on what mode mode he's in. Another fun fact, he's also the first brawler that cannot charge super from his main attacks. If Finks is standing too close to a wall, his attack will only fire 1 projectile instead of 3. That's because the last 2 projectiles fire from slightly behind him, so if he's too close to a wall, they end up hitting that instead. There was a messed up evil blue Spike sock in the Pro Pass, but on the topic of Spike, have you noticed how literally everyone has the Sakura Spike pin, even if they don't own the skin? That's because it was given out in memory of a beloved creator, Appman, whose favorite skin was Sakura Spike. After his passing a few years ago, Supercell made the pin free for everyone as a tribute. So that's really sweet. Despite all the gadget reworks, Hank and Crow still have the exact same gadgets, which is stupid because why does the second tankiest brawler in the entire game need a 40% damage reduction every 15 fucking seconds? I'm okay. Also, Crow's mythic gear only works with his attack, not with his super. Another bonus fact, when Brawlers sent love letters to Piper, he had the note "fancy making a love nest together." That keeps me up at night. Many players think Brawlers in the catalog are ordered based on their release dates, but that's actually not true. They're listed based on when they were added to the game files, which is why Gene and Tick show up before Leon Littlefoot. Yes, that's his actual name. Nightmare Sandy is the only Sandy skin where he doesn't fall asleep during his lobby animation. Yeah, what a nightmare. If you look closely at the Frost Queen Amber screen, you can actually see her other skins faintly in the background. Meg was the last brawler Paul Chambers designed. You might know him from Ash. She also has the most interesting voice lines.
Woohoo! Oh, this is so exciting!
Despite being a robot, Surge doesn't cry oil or even energy drink. Instead, he just cries like human brawlers. Another completely useless fact, Mecha Paladin Surge's pin is slightly smaller than Scarlet Paladin Surge's pin, for absolutely no reason. Supercell has a real habit of keeping unused content in the game files. One of these is this animation of Chester. Don't really know what this is for, but it's called Idle Transform in the files. In Portuguese, Jesse stole Chester's title, Jack of all trades, while Chester's title is Coringa, meaning Joker. If you throw Cordelius' super at another Cordelius, both of them will get the buffs in the Shadow Realm, even though only one of them actually used their super. Despite seemingly looking the same at first glance, Kit's eyelashes are a slightly different shade of color than her eye. Also, both the Kit's star powers are absolutely useless in duels. In Draco's trailer animation, he actually introduces us to his brothers long before he turned into a brawler, and thanks to an Instagram post by one of the artists, we even know their names: Dorian, the smart one, Dexter, the cool one, and Damien, the aggressive one. Now, if I were Damien, I would not want to be known as the aggressive one. But here we are. Among them, Draco's mastery icon can be seen on Dorian's shirt. Did you know with Kenji, you can just be an absolute feckin' menace? For this, all you have to do is pick Kenji in a 5v5 match, wait for the ball to roll in the corner, and then right as you touch it, use your super to kick it outside the map. Congrats, you've ruined the game. Ball's gone for the rest of it. Now, thanks to you, nobody can have fun. And lastly, Kaze and Kenji are technically the first officially canon married couple in the game. While there's heavy speculation that Sam and Belle are married as well, it has never been clearly confirmed. Make sure to subscribe and check out the video on screen if you enjoyed this one. Thank you for watching.